President Donald Trump says a lot of incredibly ridiculous things. I think we've documented a lot of that. But, here's some examples. When he was talking about Puerto Rico, he said, this is an island surrounded by water, big water, ocean water, and trying to explain why he didn't get help to Puerto Rico when he should have. Climate change. It's freezing and snowing in New York. We need global warming. Foreign policy. Being nice to Rocket Man hasn't worked in 25 years. Why would it work now? Clinton failed, Bush failed, and Obama failed. I won't fail. Which, by the way, later on, he failed. But the stupid thing about that, of course, is that Rocket Man, Kim Jong-un, didn't come to power until 2011. So Clinton couldn't have failed, Bush couldn't have failed because he wasn't there. They were dealing with Kim Jong-il, his father, the man who has no anus and bowled a perfect 300 every time. And of course, who can forget this fun one? Actually, throughout my life, my two greatest assets have been mental stability and being really smart. I went from very successful businessman to top TV star to president of the United States on my first try. I think that would qualify as not smart, but genius. And a very stable genius at that. And in case, of course, Trump being a very stable genius makes you feel bad, he says this: sorry, losers and haters, but my IQ is one of the highest, and you all know it. Please don't feel so stupid or insecure. It's not your fault. Yes, not your fault. And that's just a small sampling, of course, of some of the ridiculous things that he said or tweeted that, of course, did not go over very well. Now, I know a lot of Americans are pretty embarrassed by the president. I am one. And I'm sure a lot of people are. But what about the MAGA guys? How do the Republicans feel about this? You guys feel any shame about Donald Trump, the things he says or does? Well, apparently they do. Or at least a very sizable majority actually do feel a little bit ashamed. According to a recent poll by Pew Research, 53% of Republicans and Republican-leaning voters say they sometimes feel embarrassed by Donald Trump's comments. 59% are concerned by them. Now, concerned, I guess that's a pretty fluid thing. I guess when he calls the press the enemy of the people, I guess people would be concerned, like, oh my God, that sounds terrible. The press is protected by the First Amendment. Maybe you shouldn't go down that road. That's one way that you could say concerned. Another one, of course, is when he goes on about how he's a very stable genius. Maybe another way to define concerned is, I'm really concerned about that man's mental health. He does not seem like he is old air. Don't know. That would be interesting to find out which context they would be using for the word concerned. But nonetheless, there's a lot of people that seem to be very concerned, and these are Republicans, like I said. Now, there are other adjectives that Pew ran by some of the GOP and GOP-leaning voters. These adjectives included angry, exhausted, and frightened. Well, I think, again, the context seems fairly clear. 32% of GOP and GOP-leaning voters also felt insulted. Wow. Now, this has changed over the years as we have seen the president continue to devolve ever since he was elected. The Washington Post's Aaron Blake had compared Pew's survey to previous surveys, and he found that Trump appears to be worrying Republican voters even more than he had in the past. He points to a February 2017 McClatchy-Mares poll. Now, in that poll, only 12% of Republicans felt embarrassed by Trump's conduct. So, 2 years later, big difference. And you want to know why? Well, of course, the longer you know Trump, the more even the most hardcore MAGA guy thinks, oh my God, just shut up, you idiot. You are not a smart person. No, Jeff, you're wrong. Donald Trump's a genius, a very stable one at that too. There's some people that are furiously writing that right now. Now look, the funny part about this is, yeah, of course I'm going to get all these sorts of comments from Trump supporters, but look, I know the truth, and you know the truth. You can't admit it. Sorry, we know. Pew survey indicated that Republican or Republican-leaning voters don't feel that they can be honest about their feelings when it comes to Trump's comments, especially in their communities. And that's more so in places where they were favorable to Hillary Clinton in 2016, which I can understand, right? According to the poll, only 37% felt very comfortable openly expressing their political views, meaning that a lot of people are really, really embarrassed. Why? It's because they know. They know Donald Trump's incredibly stupid. They know. The emperor has no clothes. And we all see it. We all know it. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.